The real estate market in Dubai is growing, but is everything perfect in the United Arab Emirates? Is it worth buying an apartment now? Watch this video until the end and you will find out the real situation in the Dubai real estate market. Let's go! In 2022, a record volume of real estate sales in Dubai was recorded. According to Forbes, the growth compared to last year was over 80%. Moreover, prices kept rising. Price growth for the same period amounted to over 20% per year. In the first months of the current year, we have seen new records, with growth already reaching 25-30% or more compared to the same periods in the past. But at the beginning of this summer, demand sharply plummeted. Realtors are just shrugging their shoulders. Will such an investment pay off now? I will tell you a little later. Let's first understand what is actually happening in this market. Firstly, there is the low base effect. In other words, during the pandemic years, the crisis period saw a significant decline in the market, across all markets. Dubai heavily relies on the influx of foreign investments, on tourism, and of course the lockdown has primarily affected this. Therefore, what we saw last year primarily is the recovery of the market, and it has manifested itself at a faster pace than expected. Dubai's tourist flow is growing at the fastest pace in the world. The investment climate is becoming increasingly attractive year after year, attracting businesses not only from Russia but from around the world. And by the way, you all know perfectly well the events in Russia that led to a sharp capital outflow, which primarily flowed into the United Arab Emirates. It is a friendly country where the dirham currency zone is pegged to the dollar, and of course everyone immediately wanted to preserve and legalize their capital, primarily aiming for passive income. Some investors have chosen to resort to a strategy of speculation, quick resales. However, in my estimation, this is only a small part. With the victory over the coronavirus in Dubai, not only money flowed, but also human resources. The population in this area is currently growing rapidly, and there are plans to decrease it over the next 3 years. And that's why the constant demand for housing, including rentals, allows us to say that the real estate market in Dubai, despite its rapid development pace, is not a bubble at all. Currently, it lags behind market demands in terms of growth rates, urban population growth, and overall urban agglomeration. 90% of Dubai residents are expatriates, and most of them live in rental accommodation, like myself, for example. The rental price here is very high, but it can be offset by the fact that incomes are high here. For example, many Russian companies have relocated their entire business here along with their staff and rented accommodation for all their employees here. The yield of such rent for an investor can be 6 to 8% with long-term leasing, where you simply enter into a direct contract with your tenant, an annual contract that is then renewed. For instance, I rent out my apartment on an annual lease. If you want higher profitability, you can hire a property management company. She will lease out your apartments for short durations like daily or weekly in exchange for 20% of the generated income. For this, you need a license. Of course, you won't handle this yourself, but it will enable you to get a 10-12% annual return. If you require greater returns but are prepared to be actively involved in monitoring the market and responding to any fluctuations, participating in continuous purchasing and selling of your apartments in conjunction with partners and brokers from real estate agencies, then you can anticipate an annual return of 30% or more. They promise you 100 and 200, while I always give more restrained forecasts, even if you visit several times a year. Of course, we may come across a successful project where you can achieve much higher returns, but I would count on 30-35% annual. These are actual forecasts considering expenses, new payments, taxes, commissions, etc. Financial prospects are also combined with market reliability. Dubai ensures transparent, secure investments by foreign overseas investors through various measures. All transactions are finalized in accordance with standard contracts. Each and every one of these transactions is duly registered with the Dubai Land Department, and essentially all the investor has to do is ensure timely payment without any delay. And in all other respects, the law in Dubai is on the side of the investor. All transactions are insured, strict supervision and inspection are carried out at every stage of the construction of each project. And you definitely know what Dubai is renowned for, that every single thing that is constructed is precisely like it appears in the photograph. Arabs pay close attention to their reputation. Another crucial point. Many people wonder how to monitor their property if you, being in another country, have purchased real estate here, well, let's say, rented it out, but what actually happens to it? And what if there's any damage? What if there are any issues with the tenants? I'll share my experience. I'll reiterate that I live in this apartment as a tenant, and here everything is fully serviced by the property management company. Any door handle or hinge, a cabinet door, everything will be repaired by specialists who will promptly come to his aid and provide assistance upon his first call. Of course, the maintenance is not cheap, just like life in Dubai in general, and the maintenance of these apartments falls on the shoulders of the owner. The service fee is no more than 10% of the rental cost. It's a fixed price that includes everything for the apartment. And here I am welcomed by a concierge who takes care of parking my car, providing full services for everything inside, including air conditioning and all household appliances. And all this is a fixed price. The owner doesn't have to think about anything. Last time, when cleaning my apartment here, they damaged the natural stone around the bathtub cladding with chemicals and then came and polished it. All of this was free. The only thing the owner of these apartments who lives in India does is simply receive the rent amount 4 times a year through the checks I issue in advance and doesn't think about anything else. But you should also know that tenants here are protected by law. For example, I cannot be evicted just like that. The owner of this apartment has decided to sell it. He is looking for a new buyer, but I will live here until the 1-year contract expires. Plus, he must notify me in advance for a year, and I can also extend this contract on legal grounds and obligate him to maintain it for the next owner. Furthermore, the price can be raised by renting by a maximum of 20%. This must be considered when purchasing a resale apartment where someone already resides. This is one of the drawbacks of the secondary real estate market. I regularly discuss in my YouTube videos more detailed information on what can be obtained in the primary market, how installment plans can be used for investments, what other purchasing options exist, and their nuances. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you haven't done so already. What else do you need to know before buying, and what aspects should you focus on when selecting real estate? Of course, it matters what type of developer company it is, its reputation. There are many developers in the Dubai market. There are significant state-owned enterprises where lines are formed for each of their new project sales launches. You also need to be able to grab an apartment there. There are big private firms as well as smaller firms. Different terms are offered, including installment plans. It greatly depends on what your purchasing goals and personal needs are. Well, maybe you want to buy this apartment for yourself. What kind of neighborhood do you need? How many people will be living or staying there? All these nuances are taken into consideration. The majority of investors who buy an apartment from me still keep in mind that they may use the apartment themselves, so there are a multitude of factors influencing the choice of the final project. Furthermore, special attention should always be paid to the location. Dubai is a decentralized city. There are many separate districts here with their own infrastructure. They are very far apart from each other. There are residential areas located in the desert where oases have been created for comfortable living. No need to rush closer to Burj Khalifa, but if you're an investor and want to rent a daily apartment, then you should choose the city center or coastal area. Prices have gone up a lot in this area recently. The important thing is to buy a project without heating and a location without heating. And here, how to find the golden mean between economic feasibility and the prospect of further price growth. Here I will already help you during a personal consultation. Get in touch with me for property selection and purchase. Nearly all of my transactions are conducted remotely with infrequent exceptions in Russia. I help translate financial transactions and provide full support in document processing. The phone number you see on the screen, all my contacts are in the description. By the way, also follow me on my Instagram where I post stories with current projects more regularly. Ask your questions about Dubai real estate market in comments. I'll make separate video on these topics. This was Daniil about Dubai. Until next time.